Alright,
Still my
okay.
favorite.
This is Cutting Apples by Mafagafo Girl. The tablecloth bumped up lightly with the strands of grass below it, forming an uneven surface for Slick and Paint to sit down. As she took the various foods they brought off the basket, he sat down and stared at the movement around them in the park. It was a bright, sunny day, and the park surely would have been very crowded earlier today, so it was actually pretty nice they decided to come right before sundown. It wasn't a matter of practicality to avoid a crowded space, at least not an intended one, but merely a meeting halfway. Slick's eyes burned with the not very hot sun of Earthsea, and Miss Paint wasn't very fond of the darkness of night. So dusk it was. This picnic was being planned for ages, so they might as well make it comfortable for each other as they could. She took down his sleeve to catch his attention, bringing his eyes back from the 3 Carapacian children playing halfway across the field, and offered her husband an apple from the small basket of fruit they'd brought. He knew what he had to do. With his pocket knife, Slick cut into the apple and absent-mindedly started sharing it with his wife, alternating between cutting a slice for himself and for her to grab off the side of his blade. This was a ritual that had been done so many times with so many different fruit. Apples and pears mostly, sometimes oranges and tangerines. Once a tomato because there weren't any in the moons and now they were exposed to it and wanted to try for once. It had become very mundane to them, a part of living together as husband and wife, to share food even though they didn't need to. Mrs. Paint asked Slick how was his day. He started grumbling that it was okay, but it's better now with her, but stumbled on his words and they came out confusing and uncertain. She chuckled and rested her head on his arm as they sat side by side and let the conversation die there. They liked to absorb the silence and the company of each other and didn't need much verbal interaction to enjoy their time together. As the knife finally reached the apple's core, he twisted his wrist to offer it to her, but with a little hum and a shake of her head, she let him scavenge the little bits that the knife couldn't cut out. The sun was low past some hills behind them, but they didn't mind not being able to see the sunset. For all it was worth, the mellow sky turning shades of pink, orange, and purple was enough for them, and far easier on Slick's eyesight. As the apple was done for, he put it on the little container they brought to put garbage and wrapped his previously leaned-on arm around Paint, and she snuggled closer, also deciding to watch the intense game the Carapacians up front were in. The children's ball went closer to them, and the ex-mobster stopped it with his heel, kicking it back with a quick flick of his chin and eyebrows as greeting towards the kids, who went on with their game. Mrs. Paint pointed at them as they were running back to their makeshift court, and half-jokingly said that they should get one of those. Slick hummed in response, and told her to fetch a sack while he got some chloroform, and that won him a hearty laugh. He loved to misunderstand her and escalate the issue on purpose just to get her to laugh. When she did, it felt like music to him, her covering her mouth trying to contain it, the polite way her shoulders came together, because she wasn't supposed to laugh at something so crude, how her entire body jiggled with her voice to show her emotion. Truly the most adorable thing in the universe to him. She glanced back at him with a little smile on her lips, and he decided to give her a proper answer. Maybe so. Someday. He didn't know. She wasn't caught up on it. Whenever he was ready, he'd come forward about it, and she'd ask more so for teasing than for desire anyway. The moon started to shine above them, and soon enough they were the only 2 people in the park. The stars of the newly created universe freckled in the sky, countless speckles light years away that seemed to withhold so many secrets, and at the same time mean nothing at all. With a sky like that, the night doesn't look that scary, does it, Paint? She snuggled even closer, and he rubbed his hand effectively around her shoulder, their bodies pressed together, sharing warmth. No, not while he was there by her side.
Aww.
That was very sweet.
That was very sweet. Oh, that was really good.
Yeah. Jimmy climbed back into my lap, too.
Oh.
Hello, baby.